Caroline Sanders, Commissioner for District 4, which is all of Pittsfield Township and a very small portion of Ypsilanti Township. And we are doing conversations with Commissioner Sanders and the Director of Veteran Services for Washtenaw County, David Saims. So I'm excited to have him. I don't know much about veteran services, but I am eager to learn, and I hope my constituents are as well. One of the reasons that I did bring you on is that you are one of the areas of our county that have your own millage. And so during the course of this conversation, I'd like to be able to share with the constituents, what does that mean other than them helping to pay for the millage? What are some of the things that are benefits for our residents that come out of that millage, specifically to support our veterans here in the county? So, Mr. Saims, if you would take an opportunity to just let us know, like, who are you? How'd you get here? How long have you been doing this? And then we'll just keep rolling.
All right. Well, thank you for the opportunity to present today, Commissioner Sanders. I'm David Saims, Director of Washtenaw County Veteran Affairs. After I graduated high school, I went to the Army, and I did my basic training and what's called AIT. That's what you do when you train for your job, right? And then I was sent overseas to Germany, and I did 2.5 years over there. And then I came home and went to Eastern Michigan.
Yay!
I used my GI Bill.
Okay.
Some of the benefits from being in the military. I got my degree in business, majored in marketing. And then I worked in the business sector for a while. Got married, bought my first house with a VA home loan. Again, another military benefit that is afforded to us. When my wife's job brought us overseas to England, we lived there a couple years, and then decided to move back to Michigan. She's from Dexter, I'm from Livonia, and we settled in Saline because her sister was a teacher there, and we were hoping to have kids. We didn't have kids then, and we settled down there in Saline. I had a couple kids, and then in 2011, I got an opportunity to get hired as a veteran service officer here at the Veteran Affairs. Later on, I moved to manager, maybe 2-3 years, and I was in that role for a while. And then about 3 years ago, I became the director. So that's kind of my background with growing up and settling here in Washtenaw County. Like I said, I've been here since 2007
Okay.
in the county, and been working for Washtenaw County for 14 years. Now, I'd like to take an opportunity to share my PowerPoint so then I can go through some of the benefits that are that we do here in our office.
Okay.
So,
And then, David, for those people that don't know, where is your office located?
our office is located 2155 Hogback. We are just north of the jail.
Okay.
So it's Hogback is really small. Carpenter turns into Hogback, and then it turns into another street. So
Okay.
whenever I say you go turn north on Hogback, when it goes from 2 lanes to 1, you make a right, and you're right in our parking lot.
Perfect.
Yeah. So some of the snapshots of what we do in our department is, this is a list, and I have different PowerPoints for each one of them. Disability compensation, non-service connected pension, DIC, our Veterans Relief Fund. We work with the Veterans Treatment Court. We have county burial. We have a transportation program, and our partnerships, and then expert assistance here at our office.
Okay.
First thing that I was going to talk about is our VA disability compensation. That's a monthly tax-free payment to veterans who got sick or injured while serving in the military, and veterans whose service made existing condition work worse. So I'll kind of give an example as I go. I'm going to first, there's 4 different types of compensation: direct, secondary, aggravation, and presumptive. Well, actually, there's another one, 1151. That's not seen too often, but I'll go over that as well.
Okay.
Direct service connection is, and how I like to explain it is, so something happened in service, and then you have a diagnosed condition, and then a medical link, linking that injury to service. So you need those 3 points to get service connected. And so the example would be you broke your leg in service, and then they repaired it because the military owns your body. So they repaired it, you get out, and you have arthritis, or maybe your leg's a little bit shorter. And so they'll service connect that, and then you'll get medical care for that for the rest of your life, and to make sure that whatever you need for that ailment, the VA is going to provide, right? And that goes with any condition. Like if you get a cancer and then they treat it and you're in remission, and then you get out and maybe it comes back, then you ask for an increase. So that's some of the things that we do here at our office.
Okay.
Now, do you have a question?
Um, are veterans well educated on the benefits that they're entitled to, or do you find that um, there is a lack of knowledge?
I'd say in the past, well, I'm talking World War II, Korea, Vietnam, they got home and they just went to work, right? Even when I got out in 1994, they reviewed it a little bit, but they didn't really go in depth on compensation, or they talked about healthcare, they talked about education benefits. Nowadays, in the 2020s, they're going to classes and they're talking about if you ever got injured, you want to make sure that you talk to a veteran service officer. They even have I know a lot of Army bases, a lot of Navy bases, they'll bring in the VFW, American Legion, Disabled American Vets, VSOs, and they'll start their claim, but even before they get out of the service. So a lot of times my office will see people that will have a claim pending, and they want us to watch it, or if there's something that's needed, we can help them provide that. Or maybe they got their decision and it maybe was negative on some parts and they don't know why. So we can look at that rating decision. Right in that rating decision will tell you the reasons and basis why they denied it, and it'll give you an avenue to say, okay, so we're missing this component. Maybe we're missing a current diagnosis. So we need a current diagnosis, and then we can get that approved.
Okay.
So, yeah, I think a lot of the veterans getting out nowadays are way more aware than they were even 10, 20 years ago. And so it's changed, just like the GI Bill. Mm-hmm. When I got out, you had 10 years to use it, and then maybe 20 years later they extended it to 15. Okay. And then now it's called the Forever GI Bill. So okay. It's very helpful because, in 2008 when we had that crash, we had a lot of veterans coming in saying they want to use their GI Bill, but it was it was over 10 years, right? So they see that, and the Congress has been looking at veterans benefits, saying, okay, how can we help? Because there's only about 3% of the of the United States population that are veterans.
Okay.
So,
That's interesting. Okay. Thank you.
yeah. The next one is secondary. So, secondary service connection is if you have a main condition, and one of these is easy to explain. Is a lot of Vietnam veterans will come back because they were exposed to Agent Orange, and diabetes type 2 is one of the presumptive conditions, which I'll go over next. But so you're service connected for diabetes, but then you get peripheral neuropathy in your legs, the tingling in your legs, or nephropathy or retinopathy. It affects the eyes. So diabetes affects a lot of things. So then you can claim those secondary to that main condition. So any condition that you have, if other conditions come about, then you can claim that as a secondary condition.
Okay.
Aggravation is, let's say you go in the military and before you went to the military, you played football and then you had a knee injury. And maybe it was acute, maybe you had a little operation, but when you go into the military, you have to have a physical and you have to pass that physical. So if you pass that physical and they say, well, you did have a knee operation, but we'll take you, your baseline is here. And then you get out 4 years later, and with all the training that you had and the exercise and the ruck marches, it's more of here now. So you can claim aggravation. So the service aggravated your pre-existing condition to a higher level. So you can file for that and ask for aggravation. So they'll look at, okay, if your baseline was, they go percentages, 0 to 100. So maybe your percentage was 10% when you went in, but now it's 30. So they'll pay you at the 20% rate.
Okay.
So that's how they do that. The next is presumptive conditions. Now this is where Congress gets involved, or through the court systems as well. And the biggest one was NEMR. That was through a lot of Vietnam veterans were coming down with conditions related to herbicide exposure, and we all know Agent Orange, right? But there was 5 different herbicides. They had orange, purple, blue, and so they used different herbicides for different plants. And so when presumptives come about is if you were in a place that had sprayed Agent Orange, then you can get compensation if you come down, if you get diagnosed with one of those conditions. And this is the presumptive conditions for Vietnam. Not only just Vietnam, they have, it has expanded over time, because they said, okay, you set foot in Vietnam, you get one of these conditions that's listed here, then you can claim it. And then they're like, well, I wasn't on land, but I was in the waters of Vietnam, up and down the rivers, and so they added brown water. And then maybe 5 years ago, they added blue water. Blue water is if you're in a ship 12 nautical miles outside of Vietnam, then you're afforded these presumptive conditions. And because those ships were sucking up all the water from in the land, well, they treat it, but they never got all the herbicides out. So they afforded that. They also sprayed it in Thailand, Laos, Cambodia, Guam, American Samoa, and Johnson Atoll. So if you were in, and they have certain dates on each one of these. So you would talk to the veteran service officer, okay, I was in Guam in 1979, and I have diabetes, and so that time frame is within the aspect for presumptives. So, and then we all heard, and everybody's gotten emails about Camp Lejeune, and these are the presumptive conditions for Camp Lejeune. You had to be on base for at least 30 days in order to be afforded these presumptive conditions. Now you have to have one of these conditions, which most of them you don't want. But if you have it and you were in Camp Lejeune, you can file for service connection on the presumptive. This is recent. This was about 3 years ago, 2.5, 3 years ago, for burn pits. They, in Afghanistan and Iraq, so there's probably 10 different countries. If you were stationed in and you have one of these conditions, then these are presumptive for more of the Afghanistan, Iraq, anything after 1990. Even the Persian Gulf is in there.
Okay.
And so that was a big bill. And they added presumptive conditions for Vietnam and different areas. But with our VSOs, we're trained anywhere from 20 to 30 continuing education credits to see the updates on what's being covered, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is another continued. And I'll give you this PowerPoint so then you can share it with your constituents. Now, 1151 claim is a little different. Let's say you get your care at the Ann Arbor VA, and unfortunately they have to, amputate your right leg, and then they amputate your left leg. So that's kind of a tort claim, but it's also 1151 claim where you can claim it's basically negligence on your health care, and you can get service connected for that. It's rare, but it does happen. Next one this is kind of my passion right now, is dependency indemnity compensation. This is a survivor benefit. So if a veteran passed away of one of their service-connected conditions, then the spouse can be eligible for a monthly tax-free payment from the VA. And where this comes into play a lot is, as I talked about all the presumptive conditions, over the years they've added more. So let's say we had this recently. We had a veteran die in 2008 of ischemic heart disease. He was in Vietnam, and it wasn't on the presumptive list yet. So she filed for it. She got denied because Congress didn't recognize that. Well, going through our old files, we found that it's been added. So we reached out to that spouse, and we did a claim, and it went back all the way to 2009. Now they're adding different conditions, just like 3 years ago they added hypertension. And a lot of veterans suffered from hypertension, and for Vietnam, per se. And if they passed away of hypertension, if it's on the death certificate, then there's an opportunity to file for DIC for that surviving spouse.
Oh.
Yes. Okay. And to me, that's really huge because, maybe they didn't know back then that they could file, right? And then, so I really encourage surviving spouses just to call our office, talk to a VSO again, just to see if there's, any changes in the law, because it does happen. Now, this one it's called a non-service connected pension. So non-service connected pension is really comes into play when a veteran or a surviving spouse has to go in assisted living, or they're getting care in the home. Um, and they have to be a wartime era veteran, at least 1 day of wartime, and at least 90 days of active duty service. After 84, you have to have 2 years. So they did
Okay.
change the law. But where this is so how I explain it is, so the veteran has to go into assisted living and it costs $5,000 a month, right? And
Mm-hmm.
needs assistance with 3 or more ADLs. And um, their income is $5,000.
Okay.
Well, if they're in, they would be in need of aid and attendance because they need 3 or more ADLs. That $5,000 at that assisted living reduces their income down to zero, and the VA will pay a single veteran just over $1,800 a month, right? So they can
Okay.
use that for their care.
Okay. Okay. Now, um, can I call you David?
Yeah,
David, what how does that impact any other support that they might be eligible for? Do you know what I mean? And I can't think
yeah.
of anything off the top, but does it penalize them, I guess?
Oh no, it doesn't penalize them now. It's a tax-free benefit as well. But
Okay.
they're also, let's say they're enrolled at the medical center by them, right? And
Mm.
our huge one is Ann Arbor VA. So, and they're taking medication. If you're on a non-service connected pension, you get all your drugs for free.
Okay.
And it also comes into play is, let's say, let's say a veteran served in wartime, but maybe um, they're under 65 and they have non-service connected disabilities that are preventing them to work, right? And
Uh-huh.
so, um, and maybe their Social Security, they only have enough work credits to get maybe $1,000, right? And you can apply for a non-service connected pension, and for a single vet is $1,450. So that $1,000 is from Social Security. They'll take in um, they'll work that in their uh, computations, and then they'll the VA will pay $400 a month because that's like the poverty line, right? So they want to
Okay.
make sure that you're getting at least that, and all your medical care is free.
Okay. Okay. Um, I'm off camera because my camera cracked. So it's
Okay.
not because I don't want you to see my face. I was playing around with it and I don't know what happened, but then I went blurry, so I just came off altogether. But I'm sitting right here, so
Well, at least I can hear you, right?
yes.
um, the next one I have is, so if somebody is service connected at least 10 or 20% or higher, and let's say those disabilities are kind of interfering with their job, they can apply for Veterans Readiness and Employment, and the VA will pay for school to retrain them in another job field. So
Okay.
they can go back to school, get their degree, and as long as it's not interfering with their service-connected conditions, they can get paid to go to school, and their schooling's paid for. It's a really good benefit.
Okay. David, what,
Yeah.
if anything, do you know about or do you interact with Michigan Works? Because I think they have an area that deals just with veterans. I
They
think.
do. They do. And unfortunately, they got rid of the Washtenaw County rep. And the rep that is covering us is down in Livingston. And we've been
Oh.
waiting for a new rep. Unfortunately, during COVID, our rep passed away. It was a veteran.
Oh.
And they really haven't backfilled that yet. Because when I used that service when in I think it was in '03 when I lost my job. And so I went to Michigan Works. They had a veterans rep, and they would pull out jobs, and they would assist with doing your resume,
Mm-hmm.
They would assist with helping you find a job, and they still have a department, but there's no rep per se. You have to
Okay.
get it down in Livingston. So we've been lobbying to get our own, and um, we used to have Greg Weaver. He was on our board years and years ago, and he was the
Mm-hmm.
rep, and he'd work out of our office once a week, and it was really beneficial. But with state of Michigan making cuts, it just,
Mm-hmm.
well, you know that. So
So I currently sit on the Michigan Works Consortium board. So they've got two boards, the consortium board and then the workforce board. So if there's anything that I can do, typically we meet every 2 weeks, every 2 months, I'm sorry, or conversation that I might be able to have with Mr. Heron, um, or Mr. Epps, just let me know. Uh,
oh yeah, I mean
I mean, I'll
bringing up this.
advocate. You just have to let me know how you need me to do that.
Okay, yeah, I definitely will get with you. Um, Next, this is a fund that we provide just out of our office. And as we were talking a little bit about our millage, and our millage funds our Veterans Relief Fund. Well, funds my whole office, but
Okay.
we spend a lot of the money um, out of the Veterans Relief Fund. So we really focus on homeless prevention, emergent needs. A lot of times that comes in with rent, mortgage payments, DTE, food, gas. If something is preventing them from working, or they're falling on hard times, they lost their job, and they want to make sure that they have a roof over their head,
Hmm.
we'll engage with them. It's not a forever type of fund, but
Okay.
it's emergent, right? And
Okay.
we want to make sure that they don't lose their home. I know the Board of Commissioners focuses on homelessness, and
Hmm.
so are we. So
Okay.
um, we work with the Veterans Treatment Court. So I have uh, a service officer that goes to the treatment court. That is when a veteran might have got in trouble, and they want to go through a program to lessen their charge, right? So it's a
Hmm.
year to two um, a program, a 1 year to 2 year program, and it allows them to get that charge dropped as long as they do what they're supposed to do, shall I say. But then um, they engage with our service officers, and we can see if, okay, is it something from the service that maybe had something to do with them getting in trouble or constantly getting in trouble, and we work with them to file claims to the VA um, in order to get stable housing, a stable income, whatever is whatever the barriers are, we're trying to help them with those.
Okay. Okay. And how would you say, let's see, how long has this been going on and what would you estimate the success rate is?
It's been going on. I got here in 2011, and I want to say maybe 2 years later, so 2013, 2014, right around there, is when Washtenaw County got a treatment court. And we've been partnering with them ever since. And most of them graduate. I think it's very successful. And when the veterans come in and then they meet us, and then we work with them in order to file claims and maybe get a stable income, or sometimes they need help with substance abuse.
Hmm.
So with the VA, they have inpatient treatment in Battle Creek, so we'll help align that with other partners to get them the treatment that they need, right?
Okay.
And So I think it's been very successful. And throughout the state, we weren't the first ones, but there's many treatment courts throughout the state of Michigan, and it's definitely helping veterans um, stay out of trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
This is, we also help with burial. Um, so if they want to be buried in a national cemetery, we have two of them here in the state of Michigan. We have Fort Custer in Battle Creek, and then we have Great Lakes National Cemetery in Holly, Michigan. If you get interned there, they provide the headstone, marker, or medallion. And they also, let's say if a veteran wants to be at their family cemetery, we'll help them apply for the headstone or marker or medallion, whatever the family wants. Help them get the burial flag. We also have a burial allowance. Now, Public Act 235 in 1911 came out where they said, the state of Michigan said counties will provide $300 if your assets are below $25,000. They increased that in the 70s to 40. And with your help and the other commissioners, 2 years ago, I got that increased here in Washtenaw County because, I mean, what does $300?
Right.
You know, it maybe the flowers. So we
Maybe.
got it. We had it increased to $1,000, and then asset limitations we got up to 90,000. So it helps. It helps more, right? Because
Okay.
the lowest cremation I've seen is around $800. It goes 800 to 1,200. So it really helps the family if they can't afford it, right?
Right.
Also, we get presidential memorial certificates if they want duplicate medals of that veteran. We give out free flag cases. Now, we used to only do it to wartime era veterans, and about 7 years ago, I lobbied to get it to everybody because I believe that if you serve, and it shouldn't matter if it's wartime or peacetime.
Mm-hmm.
I did the same thing for the Veterans Relief. It used to be only wartime era veterans, and we expanded it, same thing, about 6 years ago to peacetime. Um, and so that helps tremendously. Um, Next. This came about with Phoenix Mobility. I know um, with the older person's millage, the Board of Commissioners approve with transportation, getting to and from
Mm-hmm.
different appointments. So we partnered with Phoenix Mobility when they had a grant, and it was about 4 or 5 years ago, uh, right around COVID, where they were giving rides for veterans for free, and it was going to be a 6-month pilot program, and they ran out of money within 3 months.
Ooh.
And with with my veterans committee, they voted on continuing it and funding it. So we spend approximately $10,000 to $12,000 a month helping veterans get to their medical appointments, and then they can go grocery shop for twice a month.
Okay.
So we'll pay for, and how Phoenix Mobility does it, they'll do taxis, Ubers, Lyft, and it goes up to ADA accessible transportation. So that is huge.
Yes. And I'm as you're mentioning Phoenix, I don't know if it was today or yesterday they had an event and I was double booked. I couldn't do it. Uh, uh it's some sort of ride with us.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was an awareness event, basically. Um, and I wasn't able to. I can't do it both, but I did have it on my calendar. Um,
Yeah, as long as they're a Washtenaw County resident, veteran, and we get their, it's called a DD Form 214. That's their discharge from the military, right?
mm-hmm.
And it's honorable, under honorable. Um, we'll put them in our system. Our front desk person, Dwayne, he books the rides, but when we're away, as long as we have processed them, then they can call the Phoenix Mobility number, and as long as they're in the system and we okayed it, they can get those rides as well.
Now, is Phoenix Mobility dedicated specifically to veterans, or do they transport others?
Everybody, I believe, and I think they're in 3 or 4 states. I know they're in Texas, Florida,
Okay.
of course, Michigan, and they're expanding. Um, and it's great because they go ahead and coordinate all the rides.
Okay.
Um, we couldn't do that as a small staff, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they have a
Dispatch area.
yeah, and they can, and then we also there's a portal where we can book rides as well. So
Okay.
they give us access to do that as well.
So, David, I learned a lot as we went through the process for the senior millage. And so I see it says door to door. But what if you have veterans that need door through door? Meaning they are, the door to door is they basically have to be able to walk out of their house and onto your vehicle. The door through door is they need help getting out of the house and getting onto the vehicle. So they might be in a wheelchair or they might be on crutches and they need a person to assist them.
And
Have
I
you
think
ever
that's where
encountered that?
um, I'd have to talk to my front desk because he books all the rides, but I believe that's where the ADA accessible transportation comes in because that is a lot more.
Okay.
And so if somebody's in a wheelchair or even um, we've had some that can't even get in a wheelchair, almost like a stretcher, and they'll take them.
Okay. Okay.
Um,
I
oh,
was just curious because we've I learned, of course, that the liability is much more
mm-hmm.
if you're talking about person to person touch or entering someone's home as opposed to just pulling up in their front door, their driveway, and they are coming out and getting into your vehicle.
Yes, so they provide it. I can definitely double back to you,
Okay.
but with the ADA accessible transportation, I believe that covers it. I mean, even if they roll up in an ambulance, right, and they take
Yes.
them to their medical appointments,
Okay.
and I know that's just much more. We've been getting more of those calls, but with the millage, we can provide that, and that's something in the past that we haven't, right? And ever since 21, we have. So
Okay.
it's been really good.
All right. Thank you.
And these are just some of the partnerships that we have in Washtenaw County. We really work well with all the legions. This is just a list of them. Also the DAV, VFW, MOPH, that's Military Order of Purple Heart, Vietnam veterans. But we also do, we're involved with the Washtenaw County Council of Veterans. I know Bob Bull has come before you many times. He's very passionate about suicide awareness.
Mm-hmm.
And so I sit in on their meetings the third Monday of every month. They take December and January off. But I go in there and I talk about what our office is doing, and then if they have any concerns, then they bring it to me, and or if they have a veteran that needs assistance, they send it to me. It's a good referral program. Um, when I present whatever is going on or what's new with the VA to them, each one of these chapters that come to the Washtenaw County Council of Vets, they take it back to their legions or VFWs or DAVs in Washtenaw County and provide and get out that information to the people in like Manchester, Chelsea, Dexter, Ypsilanti, Milan, and so we can cover the whole county better, right?
Okay.
Uh, Once a month, I go on Veterans Radio on the benefits hour. Usually, it'll be coming up on Sunday. It's the first week of the month, and I get with another. They're a veterans law group, and then also Dale Thornberry, and we talk about what's going on with the VA and what's new things that happen, some of the benefits that maybe Congress passed. So it's a national, but uh, it's really the people that do it are just in Michigan.
Okay.
We partner with the Fisher House Ann Arbor and then the Ann Arbor Medical Center. Whenever they have different events, we'll go and set up a table and try to help out any of the Washtenaw County residents.
Okay.
And that's just kind of what we do. We want to make sure that we're definitely helping all the veterans in Washtenaw County. What we did start with the millage is coffee and conversations. So we decided to do some outreach to the different townships that are not centrally located, like in Ann Arbor. So
Yes.
we went out to Manchester. We did a coffee and conversations and talked about what our office does, and we're going to be doing that every year. We also went out to Chelsea, and then we also went to Dexter. So Chelsea American Legion, Dexter American Legion, trying to get our name out there. We put our brochures in each one of the legions, so it's almost like a feeder because veterans talk to veterans, dependents talk to veterans, and to see what new things are happening with the VA. And a lot of times people are like, well, I never knew you were there in Hogback, because we do have VSOs at the Ann Arbor VA that are with the American Legion VFW, and they handle people throughout the whole state. Now, with our millage, we kind of focus just on Washtenaw County residents because we're getting paid by Washtenaw County taxpayers.
Right.
Yeah. What are some of the things that maybe you needed expanded on that maybe you didn't know and then popped up a question?
So, one of the reasons that I was excited about having an opportunity to have a conversation with you is to try and, how would I put this? When you're unaware, oftentimes rumor and innuendo and just plain out wrong information take over. And I wanted to allow your office to be able to talk about and maybe even address, whether or not, listening to your presentation, we provide excellent benefits to veterans. But I think sometimes I don't know if it's a misnomer or not, that our veterans come back home and we're not caring for them. We're not taking care of them. And so I think Washtenaw County makes us a little unique in that we do have a millage. But I'm just curious, whether or not you think, are there gaps? Are there certain circumstances where veterans are not able to access the benefits that we've got available?
I think sometimes because we're bound by some laws from the state of Michigan. Now there are veterans that maybe they went through so when you go to the military, you go through basic training and AIT, and it's rigorous, and sometimes they don't go and they don't make the standards, and they they
Wash
they're
out
actually,
or
yeah, they wash out, right? And with their type of discharge, sometimes they're not eligible to access some of our benefits. Then sometimes what happens is people think Washtenaw County Department of Veteran Affairs is the federal VA, and
mm,
we're not. They'll call us, and they're not very
nice.
not very nice. Like, you did this and you did that, so we have to remind them we're Washtenaw County, and we'll do everything in our power to try to help them. And with I talk about different benefits, sometimes, you know, you were in the service, maybe you got injured, it wasn't documented, and then 50 years later, you want that service connected. And sometimes it's hard to connect that, right? Because there wasn't any continuity of care
Mm-hmm.
since you got out of the service
Mm-hmm.
on that ailment. Um, and then you don't have any access to buddy statements. Now we've got a lot of things different service connected on, minimal evidence, but sometimes if it's not there, it's not there. And just like Camp Lejeune, you have those 8 different conditions, but there's 15 other conditions they say that they'll provide care, but they won't provide compensation, right? And they're not
Okay.
too excited about that. Same
Okay.
thing with Agent Orange, right? You have a condition, but it's not on the list, and they're just not happy with that, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I saw. I was curious about that. If now I really want to put you on the spot.
Oh, shoot. Okay.
How would you? And I hate you can't see my face just for the facial expressions. How would you rank our Ann Arbor VA compared to other VAs without getting in trouble? I mean, I understand just from, you know, third party information that the Ann Arbor VA is probably one of the better.
Oh, no doubt about it. Um, I have Blue Cross Blue Shield here at Washtenaw County, so I can
Mm-hmm.
go anywhere, right? I get my care at the Ann Arbor VA, and it is, I would say, the top 5 in in the healthcare system for the VA. It is, they partner a lot of times. If you need a specialist, there's U of M doctors. U of M doctors are always in the building, and that is a partnership that is very nice to have, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, I can't say anything bad. Now, some people have bad experiences. I mean, you have that at the grocery store, right?
Right. Right.
And sometimes it happens, but I don't want to group it all into that. And I know Detroit is getting better, with the help of Debbie Dingle, right?
Mm-hmm.
Representative Debbie Dingle. It's got her husband's name on it,
Yep.
and she's very passionate about that. She really went in there and with her and
Shook
cleaned
them
it
up a
up a
little
little
bit.
bit. I don't want to say a broom, but I'm just saying she went in there and cleaned up a bit, and that has done wonders. I've been hearing better things. Um, and then we have Battle Creek, we have Saginaw, and then we have Iron Mountain. And so Ann Arbor VA, it just doesn't. It's just not covered Washtenaw County. They cover 13 counties, all the way up to the tip of. They're in Lucas County as well,
Oh,
in
Toledo.
Ohio.
Okay. Okay. Yep. That's my
Yes.
hometown.
Yeah. So they cover all those counties all the way down to there. And even they control the Canton Seabach, and that's in Wayne County.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I am shameless about my plugs for the Washtenaw County Mobile Support Services Initiative. So it's that lovely blue RV that you may see parked, as you drive down Hogback, or maybe you see it on the road. I would strongly encourage you to consider partnering with them through the Racial Equity Office, because that would be a wonderful vehicle to transport you to the Western and maybe some of the eastern areas of the county to share the information about your offices and what you do. Also, they are trying to collect, they're trying to make it also a rolling library. So when people get on there, there are documents and flyers and informational packets from all areas of the county that help people learn more. So if you've got literature from the Veterans Affairs Office, you could certainly provide them, and they will hold them on the vehicle and make them available. So people, we that vehicle has been used for voter registration. It's been used for, housing concerns that we have, or have had more recently. I've used it for townhomes, townhouse meetings in my district, and it's a one pager. I put the link in the chat. I don't know if you have access to that, but I put the link in the chat, and it's like a one pager if you want to reserve it. It is no cost to your office. And it's a pretty simple document that you're just filling out to say what you want to use it for, when. And I've not known them not to accommodate anyone. But it's also bragging rights for our residents.
And speaking of that, we've been partnering with Washtenaw Community College. We have a big, it's called the Vet Fest in August every year. And this year, I had the opportunity to grab that bus.
All right.
And even though Miss Sharp from the
Treasurer's office.
Treasurer's office, she needed a place to stay, so we set up our tent right next to it, but we loved it because we could take people, as in veterans, into the bus, do a claim, and close the curtain so
Yep.
it's private. They have a printer. They have Wi-Fi. It was so well received, and the advertising is, that's my background, right? We want to push that, right? And because Washtenaw County is probably one of the best counties in the state, I would say.
I would say we're pretty cutting edge, and I'm literally clapping. You can't see me, but I'm clapping because second, maybe third, only to the birth of my daughter and the birth of my grandson. That is my baby.
Oh,
That's
it's
my
beautiful.
baby.
It is
And
beautiful.
super proud of it, but also, just proud that it was birthed in a county that like appreciates it, can understand and does understand how helpful it can be to our residents, meeting them where they are.
Yeah, and it was huge for us because the year before, we brought a generator, and then we were using our phones for Wi-Fi, and there was no really privacy to talk to a veteran, and that was when that came available. I'm like, we're gonna book that for the Vet Fest, and it was a huge asset, and we're already planning to do more with it next year in August for Vet Fest. We have some
Yeah.
ideas, and because we have a nice tent, but I mean the Wi-Fi is huge, and the printer, and I mean it's a mobile workstation.
Yeah. And I think the sexiest thing on that vehicle is the wheelchair lift.
Oh yeah,
That
yes.
is just, to me, is absolutely cutting edge. Um, so that everybody has an opportunity to access the inside and see what it's like. And it
Definitely.
never hurts, depending on the weather, that you've either got air conditioning or heat.
The air conditioning was, I mean, this year wasn't that hot, so that was okay. But the year before, it was blazing because it's in August. So that was the first thing that when it became available, I'm like, well, that we need to do that because of the heat of last year. So I was like, well,
Hmm.
this is great, and
Hmm.
it is beautiful. It's that wrap is really pushes out the advertising, um, and I will definitely take you up on that for our coffee and conversations. Definitely.
Okay. Yeah, that's I love it. I just love it. I beam every time I see it. I'm like, ah.
I
So
can
it's
kind of see it from my office.
yeah, you can. They've got it parked, in a good spot. Hopefully we're
Mm-hmm.
gonna have a garage soon so that our wrapping doesn't start to peel under this Michigan winter weather.
True.
Um, but I've learned a ton. I really appreciate the PowerPoint, not only for me, but for the constituents that will be viewing this sometime in the future. Um, and as I've said, if there's anything that has updated or changed, or that you feel like you need to try and get a word out, please, this does not take a lot of bandwidth from me, maybe more for Tabitha and my crew at the administration, just because they set it up and they do the technical support, but it's an easy lift to be able to share out information. And so,
Yeah.
as I said earlier, I hope to make this an ongoing thing where we'll just have you on every year, to share information about what's going on, help the veterans know more, and even help people that may not be veterans but may know veterans, be able to help provide. I just think the more people that know, the better off we
Oh,
all are.
definitely.
Um,
I
I
I would be happy
apologize
to
for
do it.
yeah, apologize for being off screen. I think I literally busted my lens as I was trying to clean it, and so now you just get the background picture. But David, I appreciate you. I was able to kind of walk through your offices. I was taking a tour of the receiving area for the county. Um, and so I was able to, we walked around, and we heard people working in your office, but I didn't know that you were there, um, until Jason Fee walked me through.
Oh,
So,
great.
yeah, nice to see that you are there. What else did I want to tell you? We got a gift from DTE. We got a several pallets of water and a pallet of light bulbs. And so
Oh,
if I didn't tell you, or if I didn't ask Jason to share with you, feel free to let his folks know that Commissioner Sanders said you could come in. We still have them there. They're being held for us. We didn't have any place else to put them, but feel free to go. Especially the light bulbs. Grab multiple packs and share them with the veterans. You take for
definitely.
granted sometimes, the cost of replacing light bulbs throughout your home. So, a whole pallet is something I couldn't possibly distribute in my district. So, feel free to take advantage of that. And if there's water left, grab a packet or so of that. We do try and keep that on the MSSI too. So we've been trying to use that water to make it available for when they go out to the public.
It is
Um,
nice being co-located with facilities, and we work hand in hand, so it's really nice.
yeah. Um, so I don't know if you have any questions for me, but this is um, just my way of trying to reach my constituents. I think because Pittsfield doesn't have a like a city center, there's no real downtown. Um, it can be hard to reach constituents, especially if there's nothing wrong, right? If
Mm-hmm.
if they feel like
Yeah.
things are going well, then you don't hear from them, and that is a blessing. I'm not complaining about that at all. But you still want to make sure that you're, providing support and services to them, in ways that make it easy for them to access. And so this was the easiest way I could think of to be able to educate them on all of the different areas of the county.
Yes, this has been wonderful, and the more outreach we can do, the better. So I was happy to do it.
I think you are new to me thinking about this, but I probably should start sharing in the future the areas that, or the committees that I sit on as a representative for the Board of Commissioners, just in case you need something, or some of your I'm going to call them customers.
Yeah.
Some of your veterans may need. So I represent the Board of Commissioners on the Road Commission, on I'm gonna what's the new term for it? Ageways, which used
Ageways,
to
yeah.
be the area agency on aging. Michigan Works, Watts, which is the Washtenaw Area Transportation Study, and those are the only ones that I can think of right now.
I think the biggest thing is that Michigan Works. If when you go to the meeting, ask if there's a veterans rep that is located in Washtenaw.
Okay.
And see what the response is. Because
Okay.
I haven't heard them replacing it, and I think the only rep was down in Lenawee, and I might not have the correct information, but that's the last information I received.
I will put that on my calendar to inquire about and respond back to you.
Because the Washtenaw County Council of Vets, they would love to have somebody from Michigan Works to come to one of their meetings and talk about what they do for veterans, right?
Oh, I think I could. I think I can pretty much say that we could make that happen.
Yeah, I know they're on recess for the next couple of months, but you probably have my email. You shoot me an email, and
Yes.
then we can coordinate it with Bob Bull.
Okay. All right. So I've got my marching orders, and I will take care of that. And then, as always, if there's any thing that you need or advocacy that you need, feel free to reach out. You're in Saline, so it
Yep.
depends. A small portion of my constituents live in Saline, but I'm unique. I've got Saline, Ann Arbor, and Ypsilanti mailing addresses for my residents.
Oh.
So
Yeah, I'm with Shannon.
Okay.
I'm in her district.
So it never hurts to have more than one commissioner friend.
Oh, definitely. And I mean, I'm very involved with the Saline American Legion, and I'm in leadership there too. It's like when you volunteer, your name gets around, and everybody wants you to volunteer. And I have a 16 and a 14-year-old girls, so my time can only go so far, but the veterans world and my wife supports it, so I do a lot with veterans, and then and of course my job, and
Right.
so there's a lot of veterans in the Saline American Legion that go all the way down to Pittsfield. They go south, and a lot of them were farmers, and so.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
David, I appreciate your service and your continued service. Thank you so much for joining me today and sharing this plethora of information for the constituents to learn about and possibly utilize if they're not already doing so.
Great, and I'll send that PowerPoint to Tabitha.
Okay. All right, and I'll get on my homework and I'll respond back to you about Michigan Works, okay?
I appreciate that.
All right. You have a great afternoon, and if I don't see you maybe at the county holiday party on Wednesday, enjoy your holiday.
I will, and I'm probably gonna stop by because it's kind of on the way home. So.
Okay. All right.
I'll detour through Ann Arbor, and I'm planning on going.
Okay. All right. I'll look
Okay.
forward to seeing you. Thank you so much, David.
Okay, Commissioner Sanders.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.